Hello everybody, welcome back to Cleveland Pound Performance. What we got in the shop here today for the crew to get working on coming up is a 1970 Mustang. This Mustang right now currently has a 428 with an automatic transmission in it. The plan for us is to get this vehicle back to the customer this summer, do some of our upgrades, let him and his wife enjoy this car this summer. Then come winter, we're talking about doing some big horsepower builds, like 1,000 horsepower stuff in this car. But right now, phase one is back to the customer this summer. So what stuff will we be doing while it's in here? Great question, I knew you were gonna ask. So underneath the hood right now, we're gonna get rid of our original radiator, go to an aluminum, bigger radiator, update the cooling fan, go with a dual cooling fan system. Going to add air conditioning in here for some creature comforts. Going to put a new front accessory drive. The transmission will be coming out of this thing. Well, what's going in? Going to be putting in a TKX Tremec 5-speed transmission, manual transmission, man pedal stuff. Get the manual transmission in, get all the wiring for the manual transmission wired in under the dash. And then with the exhaust, the customer would like a new exhaust. We're going to do a stainless 304 custom exhaust. He sent us in some mufflers, valve mufflers being controlled by a fob throughout the car on the inside. Going to take care of that. Customer's still deciding right now if we're going to be dumping down, underneath the car, dumping out the back. The car does have, a little bit of that old school, stank in it, that wonderful gas stank when you're driving in there that can smell. So we are going to potentially do some high flow cats to help alleviate some of that for the customer. And then why it's in here right now, because the car is more or less getting tore apart 6 months down the road. The current disc brakes that are on the front, we're just going to match that front brake conversion. We're going to be putting disc brakes on the rear of the car, eliminating the factory drums. Once the factory drums come off, we'll put our disc brakes on. The wheels right now are, in smaller wheel, more vintage wheel style. So we want to keep these wheels for right now. So we may or may not paint our calipers behind here. You're not going to see a bunch of it. But when these calipers coming from these companies, a lot of times they're just more or less basic code. They will surface rust up. So if we can throw a bit of paint on there and make it look better for the customer, maybe we only see a little bit. It's the details. When, he's got it there at his own place. He's got lift in his garage. He's doing his own maintenance, just looks better back there. So that's going to be phase one of our Mustang. We're going to get all of our parts laid out, start going over what we got in here. Got a big parts order in right now. We're going to start doing some upgrades. While we're in here, some basic stuff too, ball joints and that other stuff needs done. Anything safety related we're going to do right now. The biggest thing is we want this Mustang back to the customer in the summer for him to drive it. So that's what we're looking for. Stay tuned. Let's get some boxes. Let's get some parts on. Start getting into this build. Got our accessory drive coming in here. Going to be going to vintage air, bigger aluminum radiator. So we got some more parts will be going on the next wave of the video. So we got the rear disc brake conversion installed. Got the emergency brake cables run. Got our tabs run for our rear brake lines molded onto the axle. Being a 70 Mustang, obviously she's got a little bit of age, but age shows very well on her. Some of that front suspension, is just a little worn from being old. So we did upper lower control arms. Did some new camber plates up top for the top of the struts. Basic, more or less, just some safety maintenance. New rotors in the front, new pads. This Mustang here is going to drive for probably, a solid 3 to 6 months. And then this Mustang's getting torn apart to go to a lot bigger horsepower. So didn't make a lot of sense for the owner, and we agree with him to put a bunch of crazy money into going into stuff, because if he goes with an independent front suspension, a lot of those parts are going to come off. So the stuff that we did up front was more or less just basic maintenance, make the Mustang safe, let him and his family enjoy it this summer, get out, drive it, so that type of stuff. So once that independent front suspension goes, that stuff will be, available for sale or whatever else he does with it. So what's coming up next for the Mustang? Great question. We're going to be heading into vintage air. We're going to pull the dash, get the AC system installed. Then we're going to head up front, get the accessory drive, all of that stuff installed, and then parts we're waiting on. We're waiting on our transmission and our clutch to show up. So hopefully by the time we get through the vintage air, get the front accessory drive, get the new radiator, get all the cooling systems stacked and bled. We get our man pedal stick shift TKX trans in here, get our custom exhaust built around our transmission, and that'll be the next step. So stay tuned as the guys keep rolling along. Car's coming out great so far, and look forward to keeping everyone updated on our 70 Mustang.
So we installed this, you just saw it, it happened. We installed this belt drive accessory kit here. We have AC compressor, there's an idler down there. Obviously you need that one, that's your crankshaft pulley balancer. There's a water pump, and we even included for this customer, because he's so great to us, a alternator to provide all the voltage necessary for the wing bangs and the doodads and all the other electronic components. Now, you do this to convert it from a V-belt to a serpentine system, which if you don't know why you do that, I don't know what to tell you. And also, we got ourselves a little AC compression going on over here. All the AC is getting in there. It's going to get smashed down and compressed, spun, and then sent to the vents to be blown on you. Also, we got a couple fans going in. 1, 2, 3. 3's a crowd. That's fine. It's going to do all the cooling. 3 might be a crowd. We're going to find out if 3's a crowd or not. Look at this old dumb fan that was in there. It is just not cool. This, no pun intended, well, pun intended, is cool. So we're going to get back to work on this. This is an awesome 70 Mustang Cobra Jet 350 GT 500 Le Mans edition, Shelby Cobra Le Mans with the K&N air filter, 428, I forgot, Mach 1 edition, Mustang by Ford Motor Company. And we're going to keep rolling and make it happen. Bam.
A lot of changes continue on the Mustang. The AC is all installed. Accessory drive, new radiator, new fan. Getting ready next, pull the transmission out. Headers are going to be coming off because the transmission is wider. Obviously, the header's not going to sneak through there. So the headers are coming out. Got our drive shaft out, got our exhaust out, got our new stick shift transmission in. So the next steps will be basically converting this old school automatic transmission into that modern horsepower reading manual pedal stick shift transmission. So let's go check out our trans now that's here and out of the box. Our friends over American Powertrain with Tremec got us a very beefy stick shift transmission, of course. We are rated up to about 1,200 horsepower. Thanks to American Powertrain. Definitely rated for north of 1,000 here. So excited to get the transmission in and start getting this Mustang back to shifting. Yep, so let's get that trans and headers out so we get this new one in.
Right now?
Yeah, while you're working. Pretend like it's not even there. It's like you're talking to yourself or something.
Bro, what do you want me to say?
This is what you do when you're working on a car in a video, I think. So what you want to do is you want to test the tensile strength of the primaries, and that'll tell you exactly how much horsepower you're going to be able to.
Something that I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
That's something you do.
Is it frustrating you right now?
Our B&M C6 automatic transmission is now in the car, and our Tremec TKX 5-speed is now in the car. So as we start to walk over here, pop up into the car, we can see that our shifter's sticking through. The goals for this car, we mentioned a few times, is coming back in for a very large build. So what are our console goals? What's all that? For lack of better, it's probably not much right now. Trying to just get this car home, get this car home for some summer driving, We're going to redo the whole interior. So in terms of putting a ton of money in the console right now, it doesn't make a lot of sense. So as you can see though, we got our shifter in there. We got our shifter mounts. That means there's a transmission underneath there. It's pretty exciting news. So let's take our Mustang up in the air and let's see what it looks like from underneath. So our Mustang's heading up in the air to check out our transmission from the underside. We got the long tube headers off. We're going to weld our V-bands on because we are building a custom exhaust to come from the headers back. These headers are pretty banged up. I agree with you. So why would you put banged up headers back on the car? Working with the customer, since we have this, 1,000 horsepower plus build going on, we both agreed it probably wasn't worth it to go invest money in headers right now. So the headers are out. We understand they got a little bit of, rust and corrosion road use. That just means good smiles and good times. So got our V-band on that one, got our V-band on our other one, get our headers back installed, which we know are not fun to go in there. Guys at home have done that. Incredibly tight in there, not fun to pull in and out. So I got a good giggle writing up the thing for the tech when he had to pull the headers, because originally I wrote it up, we weren't pulling the headers. So luckily with my office hands, that didn't affect me. It only affected him. So now we come underneath the car and we look at our transmission. Our good friend Jeff over at Mantic hooked us up. We actually got 2 clutches from Jeff, so he knows we're under a bit of a time crunch. So the good guys at Mantic got us a twin disc and a triple disc. We're going to basically fit both. Let Jeff know which one we don't need. Jeff's great customer service. He's going to take that other one back from us. So right here is our triple disc. Anything you get from Mantic comes in an incredible shipping case. What's great about that is you know what a clutch weighs. And if a clutch comes in a random box, falls out of the box with the ground shipping carrier, that stinks. Who knows? Your pressure plate, whatever. His flywheel gets screwed up. So in this case, Jeff does a great job packaging stuff very well. Every time we get one of these special goodies from him, we're super pumped. So we're going to open this up here, see what we got in here. Let's bask in the goodness of our triple disc clutch. She beautiful. Mantic obviously does some top rate stuff. We work with them a lot. Love their service, love their quality. So with this customer, he understands horsepower is going to the budget and all that stuff. So we got a clutch that can work between both cars. Might need to get a different flywheel, when the other motor comes in, but our clutch is built to work for both drive lines. So the amount of money the customer's investing, that part we made sure it would work for both. So our clutch is in. Coming back to our transmission, and how can your clutch be on the floor and not up in there? Our twin disc is in here right now. We're doing some test fitting, making sure everything's good. When you're on a timeline crunch, as this one is here to get back to the customer, we're basically doing some test fitting. So our flywheel hasn't arrived yet. That should be in real soon. So right now what we're doing is we're fitting everything, measuring out, seeing if our twin disc or triple disc is right for this car with its current application of motor. Perhaps the twin disc is right now, then we shelve the triple disc till later. Maybe one's not right, we work with Jeff and we send it back. So transmission's up and in, we're fit. Got our drive shaft measurements now. We're getting our drive shaft built. Got our trans cross member in. Gonna get our headers back in. Get all of our trans flywheel locked in. Once that drive shaft shows up, we're gonna start building our exhaust. We're doing a custom exhaust coming here back. The customer has a valve muffler he'd like in here. Great, no problem. We're happy to work with people. So it's gonna be a stainless 304 exhaust from the headers back. When the time comes for the new motor, if we gotta end up redoing up in here, no biggie. This part back here will still be able to work with the new motor. So that's the updates on our 70 Mustang. Heading home for some summer cruising. Stick tuned for the videos. Happy to share along in Power and Performance.